Hello, my lovely class. Welcome to StudyWave Academy, where education is without limit. Welcome to our English class, and this is grade 11. Welcome to our English class, and let's begin. So today we're going to be talking about a very important topic that has been sorry for that. This is a topic that has been there it's a problem in our world today. People are facing this problem and we want to discuss it today. So our topic for today is on drug use and abuse. Drug use and abuse. So even before I start, I know that most of us know what drugs are, how they affect us, and how they have effects in our bodies and how people use them. Okay, so I also believe that we know examples of these drugs, okay? And we know what drugs are. At grade 11, we are expected to have had some of these drugs, and we are not even supposed to use some of these drugs. So we have medicinal ones, and we have the ones that we will talk about, and we'll discuss everything about it. So we're going to be discussing drug use and abuse. And first of all, even before we begin, just tell me what a drug is. Like, if you hear the word drug, what comes into your mind? What is a drug? Okay, so now let's move to the first thing that we'll discuss today, and that is, what is a drug? Before I even begin my lesson, I love discussing the meaning of words, okay? So first, what is a drug? Basically, a drug is just a substance that alters the normal functioning of the body when introduced into the body. That's simple. So a drug is a substance that when used or when introduced to the body, it alters the normal functioning of the body. Now take the keynote of the word normal functioning. So your body functions normally, the way your brain runs, your heart beats, everything about your body on a normal day is normal, okay? So it has a normal functioning. But when you take in a drug of any kind or any substance, then it alters the normal functioning of the body. So that is what a drug is. It's any substance or a substance that when taken, it alters the normal functioning of the body, okay? So these substances can be natural or synthetic and physically affect the body and mind. So we can have natural drugs and synthetic drugs. We'll talk about this, do not worry, but just generally, drugs can be categorized based on their effects, purpose, and legal classifications. So even medicinal drugs are drugs. These drugs that the youths take for pleasure and stuff like that, we will mention, all those are drugs too. So all of them are drugs, and when taken, they alter the normal functioning of the body. Let's say you take maybe sleeping pills. Maybe the doctor gives you some sleeping pills because of a certain ailment, okay, so that you can sleep for a while, or whatever the doctor wants you to do with the drugs. That drug is a medicinal drug, so that is also a type of a drug. Then we have drugs like cocaine, bang, the ones that people take for pleasure and stuff like that, and the other things that they explain why they take this drug. So those are also drugs. So these drugs can be categorized according to their effects, their purpose, and their legal classifications. So we have drugs that are a no-go zone, or the government is really against such drugs, and we have drugs that are meant for the purpose of ailing or the purpose of treating something. So that is another type of a drug. Do not forget about that. So we have a drug that can be used purposefully for treating someone, and we have another drug that is used for pleasure, or whatever the youths call it. So we'll discuss all this. So simply, a drug is just a substance that when taken, it alters or it changes or alters the normal functioning of the body. So don't forget about that. Now let's move and look at what is drug use. So we've looked at what a drug is. So now we'll look at drug use. So I'm trying to break down drug use and abuse. The main topic, I told you the main topic of discussion today will be drug use and abuse. So I'm going to break down each content in it so that we can understand it. So what is drug use? Drug use now refers to the consumption of substances, whether illegal or legal, for various purposes, including medicinal, recreational, or spiritual reasons. Okay, so drug use now is the action of consuming a substance. Okay, so the action of taking these substances is what we call drug use. Using these substances, it's called drug use. Okay, so you can be taking these substances for various reasons. We have reasons maybe for medicinal purposes, for recreational purposes, or even for spiritual reasons. There's some people who believe that some drugs, when some drugs are taken, they are connected to some spiritual things. We'll discuss all that, do not worry. So there are legal and illegal drugs, and the legal drugs are the ones that are for medicinal reasons, okay, for treating people. Then the recreational ones are the ones that are mostly illegal, the ones that are not allowed because they affect our bodies and they bring some effects and some sicknesses in our bodies. Okay, so these are the drugs we're going to be looking at. So they can be categorized into two main types. Drugs can be categorized into two main types, and we will look at that. So first, let's look at the different types of drugs. Let's now look at the different types of drugs. So one, here I just mentioned two main reasons, but I will look at other sub reasons again, so do not worry. We will look at what is the what are these categories of drugs. Okay, so the first category, or the first type, we have the medicinal drugs, or the medicinal use. So drugs can be used for different purposes. I'll repeat that again. Drugs can be used for different purposes. So the first purpose is for medicinal use. Now, this refers to the appropriate, mark these words that I'm going to be explaining and mentioning. So drugs can be used for medicinal purpose, and that this refers to the appropriate and supervised use of drugs as prescribed by the healthcare professional to treat medical condition or alleviate symptoms. These drugs can be legal and beneficial when taken as directed. Now, you notice that sometimes you're sick and maybe your sister just goes ahead and gets you some painkillers, even without the right prescription. They will just give it to you because they believe that it will ail your headache or your stomach ache. Or you find someone or your friend, you just tell them you have a stomach ache or a headache, and they just go and take any drug believing that they are painkillers because that's what they're used to. Then they give you. It's okay for them to show this or show that they care, but remember, this is illegal. It's not the correct way. A drug should be prescribed by the right medical doctor, not just anyone. So if you're feeling like your head is paining or your stomach is aching, then what do? You visit a health center or a chemist or just a doctor, okay? And then they will prescribe a drug for you according to your symptoms, and they will tell you how to use it appropriately. So you will notice when you're taking drugs, they'll tell you, you take this in the morning, then this will be taken at this time, then this will be taken at this time. So that is them prescribing the drug for you. And this is the medicinal use we're talking about. It's to ail your illness and also to prevent maybe a certain illness. So this is one use of drugs. We use them for medical purposes. Okay? And notice that there's some drugs that most of them, I won't say that all the medicinal drugs are legal. There's some medicinal drugs that are illegal, and we will learn this at a later stage. There's some drugs that are not recommended by the government because of their side effects, okay? But still, I will use the word most because not entirely all drugs are legal, whether medicinal or not, okay? So most of these medicinal drugs are legal and accepted by the government and the people and everyone because their sole purpose or their main purpose is to cure and to help people ail from illnesses, okay? Maybe you're sick from something and you want to be treated, you use these drugs, okay? So one use I've looked at is the medicinal use. Don't forget about that. Then the second type or the second use of drugs is for recreation purposes or recreational purposes, okay? So this is where you just want to be high. The youths call it wanting to be high, okay? But these recreational drugs are used or this recreational drug use involves the consumption of a substance for their psychoactive effects to achieve a desired mood. Now that is the mood I'm talking about, being high. So you want to achieve a desired mood. So what do? You take these recreational drugs, okay? So take key note of this. These drugs, they are consumed because you want to achieve a desired mood or mood alteration or experience. This can include substances like alcohol, cannabis, or party drugs, often used in social or leisure settings. So you go for your friend's birthday or your friend's party. A friend has invited you for a party, and then there's this group of people. They come to you and they want to give you these party drugs, and they tell you the reason is to just get you in a certain mood or a certain experience where you're feeling high and happy and energized for the party, so that you cannot be bored or you cannot feel left out. So they give you this drug, and they explain to you that it's just to let you be hyper, in short, and just enjoy the moment. But you notice these drugs are illegal, okay? So we have these recreational drugs, the ones people just take to achieve a psychoactive effect or to achieve a desired mood alteration or experience. They want to experience being high. They want to experience how they will feel when they are high, or when they've taken these drugs. They want to experience such moments. So they do it for recreational purposes, but they don't do it to treat a sickness or to treat any illness, no. But they just do it so that they can get high, achieve a desired mood, feel happy, feel energized, and then just relax or just feel whatever they want to feel. So those are the recreational drugs, and I've given examples here. We have mostly we have this the ones I've mentioned down here, and you will notice there are other types and very many types that we will mention later. And so I've looked at the two examples here, the medicinal ones and the recreational ones, and I'll now look at other subtypes. These are the two main types here, the medicinal ones and the recreational ones. So we'll look at another type here, and that is the ones that are enhanced performance. Yeah, the ones that enhance performance. So we have performance enhancing drugs. So we have medicinal ones, we have the recreational ones, and now we have the performance enhancing drugs. Now with these drugs, they improve the physical performance, endurance, or cognitive abilities. Now if you hear the word performance enhancing drugs, what comes into your mind, or what type of activity comes into your mind? So you notice that I'll just give an examples. These are mostly, you've heard the word steroids, right? You've heard people mention this word steroids and stuff like that, or stimulants, okay? So these drugs are mostly used by athletes, or these people are just engaged in sports or some competition of the sort. So they do this to enhance their performance or enhance their duration, or how long they will last in a certain race. So these drugs improve physical performance, endurance, or cognitive abilities. They are commonly associated with athletes seeking to gain an edge and might include steroids, stimulants, or other substances. So even when you go to the online platform or just try search about these drugs, you will find some athletes who have been expelled from the other races, or expelled from this activity for a long time because of such actions. They use this drug so that they can gain more energy and then just last long, or just perform well during their running or whatever activity they're doing. Even swimmers, even footballers, even basketballers, anyone who wants to, those who believe that they want to perform very, very well, they will use these steroids or stimulants or these substances so that they can just enhance their performance. So this is another type. So this is different from medicinal drugs and different from recreational drugs. They're not for the entertainment purpose, no. They're not for treating anything, no. But they just are there to enhance your performance, or to enhance your ability to recognize things, to endure pressure, or endure a certain situation, okay? So these are the performance enhancing drugs. Do not forget about that. So this is used mostly by the athletes, like I've told